Check out this crazy fish caught out of Dana Wharf sport fishing in Southern California recently. Do you know what it is? It's very rare catch here. If you know what it is, leave a comment down below. I would love to see if you can identify this mystery fish. Another reason to go fishing in SoCal.
He's on it. Just looked at it. He's right underneath it. Oh! Holy shit, he just tried to eat the jig. Oh, look at it.
What an incredible sight. We can't thank Captain Rudy Morgan enough for providing us with this exceptional video watching an orca blow up on a marlin lure in San Jose del Cabo.
Yeah, we got Dave from Tuna Wars. Now it's, hey, tell him Dave, it's Wahoo Wars.
Wahoo Wars, wicked Wahoo.
Wicked Wahoo.
It's that time of year again, my dear friends, when Friedman Adventures reaches across the border to help our dear friends, our brothers and sisters in Mexico. We've been collecting goods all year long, and it's a labor of love for all of us. We've been storing the items, and of course, you are the ones who make this all possible. Now it's time to ship all of this to Mexico, and it's really costly. If you can afford it, we would deeply appreciate a donation. Joe, it's good to see you, man. You're out every morning walking, right? Yeah, it's so important to your health.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you
I'm
too.
going to get started on the morning briefing, my friend.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's Joe, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is so good to be here with you all. Guys like Joe renew my faith in humanity. He's a great guy out here walking with Lupe and his wife all the time, and it's just one of the ancillary benefits I get from doing the morning briefing. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about the bluefin tuna offshore. We're going to talk about Cabo San Lucas. How in the heck did you like seeing that orca blow up on that marlin lure that Rudy Morgan was trolling down there in San Jose del Cabo, Baja California, Sur in Mexico? That was exciting. I know what Rudy was thinking. This is so cool, but please don't eat it. Don't eat that marlin jig, because that would have been the end of everything. That was exciting stuff. And I've got to thank each and every one of you who donated to our cause to send more and more clothing, sporting goods, medical supplies down to Mexico for this Christmas. So many of you have already donated, and you have my heartfelt thanks. I can't thank you enough. We're going to talk about the local rockfish, some good surf fishing. There is so much to talk about. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, is that coffee so good? And it is so good to be with you all. One more time, I want to thank you for donating to the cause. It really helps us. We have a tremendous amount of goods to ship down to Mexico. And unfortunately, I contacted the guys who did the shipping last time, and they said costs have gone way, way up. And it was over $3,000 last time to ship. So we'll see what that means. Hopefully, they haven't gone up that much. I've got my fingers crossed on that. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you can. Please share these videos if you get a chance. That means a lot to us. Tick the bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. And of course, we'd love you to subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Well over 4 million views on YouTube alone. Well over 10 million views when you combine all our social media, and that's all due to you. And I can't thank you enough for all of that. All right, let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about, my friends, and that orca down there in Cabo San Lucas, that was crazy. The marlin bite in Cabo's been outstanding. In fact, Rudy Morgan, who provided us with that orca footage, had a day here recently where he had a couple of blue marlin, over 250 pounds. They baited a swordfish. They had a 40-pound dorado. It's tremendous. And then they tossed on 15 yellowfin tuna to boot. So some great fishing south of the border. Let's stay in Mexico, and then I'll get into the long-range scene with you. And we'll come up to Ensenada, where fishing for rockfish has been spectacular for all the guys down there in beautiful Ensenada, Baja California. It's been great fishing for rockfish and big bonita. Also, we've seen all the guys down there. Mara sport fishing, it's for reals sport fishing, Arnie sport fishing, blackfin. All those guys are doing really, really great on the big bonita as well as the rockfish south of the border. So that continues to head in the right direction. I think Joe sees Lupe and, hey, good morning. Hey, Merry Christmas. We can say that now, right? All right. So great people down here. So some really good fishing down there in Ensenada, where you can feel the Christmas spirit already down there in beautiful Ensenada. Let's go to the long range scene. And man, oh man, there's been some great Wahoo fishing, as you saw in the lead in on the Royal Polaris, the Intrepid. All the boats down that way have been having great Dorado fishing, yellowfin tuna fishing, and the Wahoo bite has been really good. On the American Angler, Lisa Paul and Teresa Hernandez are on board catching some yellows, and they were headed for the yellowfin and Wahoo area, and they found it. They were getting in on it on the American Angler with some really good fishing. And as I mentioned, the Royal Polaris, I mean, there's nobody who's down there who's not doing really, really well right now. Those 8 to 11 day trips during the late fall out of San Diego that go down into the Baja California region, man, I'll tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. It's great fishing right now as we now have our bow pointed toward Christmas. It's unbelievable how blessed we are here in SoCal with some really great fishing. All right, let's talk about our offshore fishing. The bluefin tuna zone, where it's been kind of hit and miss. And we have the feeling that we're under the influence of a big full moon. By the way, a weather note for you all. Thursday, Friday look very dicey out there around Tanner Bank, where a lot of this fishing has been taking place. It does not look all that great at all in that neck of the woods. So we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely and see what happens. But right now we've got gorgeous weather. And then after that blow, you know, like Saturday, Sunday, it looks like it's going to mellow out and be beautiful again. This is normally when we have some really great weather, and it looks like that is going to be the case. That fish, however, has been a little bit off the bite. Sometimes it's that smaller grade fish, 10 to 30 pounds. Every once in a while you get into that 30 to 50 pound stuff. And then other times you'll see some fish that are even bigger than that, up over 100 pounds. But it's been maybe a fish per rod here recently out there in that neck of the woods. Not much better than that. By the way, they are putting a lot of sand on the beach here. And in February, when this all finishes up, and the reason I'm mentioning that to you is you can see these guys all going by. I mean, the erosion here has been substantial. When we get a high tide and a big heavy seas, it pushes right up to the houses there, and there's some flooding that takes place. So these guys are going to remedy this situation here by February, where for me to reach the water's edge, it's going to be 200 more yards out, if you can believe that. 200 yards after these guys get all finished up. What's that going to do to our surf fishing bite around here? That's my main concern. No, it's great, and there's some people here in Surfside who work diligently to make this all come together. So I just thought I'd throw that side note in for you all. Back to the offshore bluefin tuna. There's a lot of squid on the Outer Banks regions. There's also some fish on the 43 and the 60 out there on Tanner Bank. Those are areas here in Southern California, offshore banks. One of them, the 43, because it comes up to 43 fathoms. The 60-mile bank, because it's located 60 miles from San Diego. So all those zones have been holding a lot of squid. And of course, that is a magnet, a food source that helps to keep the bluefin tuna around. Water temps don't bug BFT all that much. They'll hang here in the wintertime and will continue to bite. But what's going to happen here is we're going to lose track of where the fish are. And then you're running out there in the blind. By that, I mean, we have a lack of boats. And a lot of guys have thrown their towel in San Diego for the season. They're done. Had enough. Going to do some boat maintenance and get ready for Christmas right now. But there are a few boats. Valentino is here. There's a few boats that are out looking around. And when you have just a few boats, sometimes it's very difficult to come upon those fish. We'll continue to watch it and see how it all goes. I'll tell you, the pride out of 22nd Street Landing. Armin and Jesse, a couple of really wonderful Friedman Adventure family members. In fact, I'll be seeing Jesse in a few more hours as we're decorating down there at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club, getting that place ready for our Christmas bash on Saturday. Hope you're going to make it there. But they were on the Pride. They ended up with 10 bluefin tuna, so they scratched away at the bluefin. It was mostly that smaller grade BFT, but they said it was a great trip because they loaded up on the rockfish, caught a few halibut and a white sea bass to go along with it, with some good island fishing to boot. And again, the Pride coming through with another great trip. Man, I'll tell you, those guys fished so hard there out of 22nd Street Landing. So the overall picture for the bluefin tuna is that we're not going to have all that much coverage in boats on it, so it's going to be a lot more difficult to locate those things. I don't think they're going anywhere. And I do think that if you put the focus on that bluefin tuna here this winter, you'd catch fish right through December into the new year. I think you're going to see BFT being taken for guys who get out and focus on it. And remember, you have that variety of fishing. You need to vary your tackle. A lot of that smaller grade fish around right now, but all you need to do is get into the big grade stuff, and you don't have heavy tackle, and then you are screwed, and you don't want to have that happen to you. So you want some 25-pound fluorocarbon, 40-pound, 60-pound. You want 2-speed reels with 100-pound Spectra and 200-pound leader material for the 300 to 500-gram jigs that you'll be dropping on those little devil's heads at night. That all makes a huge difference to your success. And then you're going to want some finesse type tackle, as I mentioned, even 20-pound you can drop down to, and you'll get a bite on that. A lot of times it's sinker fish, like a 2-ounce sinker will work really well. Sometimes it's fly line, and then once again you can catch fish even on those shiny jigs, small shiny 100, 150-gram Daiwa Sakana works really good on that bluefin tuna. So we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely and let you know as we go along. Let's take a look at our island situation. And you saw on the Pride they had a sea bass, a couple halibut, and they've had some good rockfish. Pretty much up and down the coast, we're seeing a lot of that right now with some good rock fishing going on. We'll hope that that is going to continue up in the Channel Islands. The rockfish bite has been absolutely spectacular. It's been fantastic fishing going on up there in the Channel Islands. The Endeavor has several trips coming up. You'll be able to join them on a trip, and that's a rarity because Tucker McCombs and the Endeavor are chartered up. Man, I got all kinds of guys heading my way here. They're chartered up a great deal of the year, so that is something you definitely want to keep in mind. The Endeavor 805. Can you guys still hear me? Man, it feels like an earthquake here. 805-676-3474. And you can get on board the Endeavor and do some really great fishing up there in the Channel Islands where the rockfish bite remains excellent. Remember, rockfish here in SoCal, man, the earth is trembling. I hope you can still hear me. Hey, that's a good test for these microphones. Yeah, the Endeavor's chartered up a lot there out of beautiful Ventura sport fishing. I highly recommend you get out with those guys. Man, just missed me there. Almost planted me in the dirt here. 805-676-3474. Get out with Ventura Sport Fishing. They also on the weekends have the California, the old Matt Walsh, as well as the Island Spirit. My dear friend Cody Rogers. They all do such a great job up there in that neck of the woods. Hey, let me take you back to Ensenada for one moment because a really good friend of the Friedman Adventure family, Alan Offord and his son, they got on a cruise ship with their wife and mother, and they went down to Ensenada, and they're in Ensenada, and they're thinking, what do we do? And of course, Alan, being an avid angler, says, let's go fishing. So they charter a boat, and they go out, and they had just a spectacular day catching bonita, barracuda, all kinds of rockfish, all you could possibly want. They were trolling a lot and getting bit all the time. They really had a great time. Alan, thanks for checking in with us. I deeply appreciate that. Really great stuff. No question about it. There is still some bass that are biting. The wintertime bass bite, or I should say late fall, is still pretty good. And leave it to our buddy Marcus Fain to crank some nice, big, fat, grumpy sand bass. Sand and calico bass continue to bite. Marina del Rey, Redondo are a couple places where they focus on that. Twilight trips out of Davies Locker and also down there in beautiful San Diego, they have some wintertime bass fishing going on, and it can be really good. You know, your fishing structure when you're fishing those wintertime bass, so you really have to pull hard to get them away from that structure, and the only way to do that is fish heavy line in most cases. 25-pound, I say, is a little light, but if it's what it takes to get a bite, you may have to do it. If you can get it, bite on the 40-pound, I highly recommend it. With all this squid around, and there is a lot of market squid around, man, that opens the doors to really good wintertime bass fishing. Marcus Fain doing his thing. Brian Barber is a great friend of the Friedman Adventures family, and he is the head of Mission Fish. He's dedicated to taking our warriors, the men and women of our armed forces who protect our country. He's dedicated to taking many of those guys who've returned from action or from service and taking them out for a day on the water. And he did that recently, and it was a magical trip. Brian does such a great job, and I'm working with him at times. We need to get back together again and focus our energies together on getting more and more of our vets out there into the great outdoors, because not only do they deserve it, because there's such a healing process that this Eastern Pacific and a day on the water fishing will bring you. It is remarkable. I mean, just for me, standing here on the beach, talking to Joe this morning, talking to Lupe, I mean, all of this really just brings such an amount of peacefulness into your life. And Brian Barber, Mission Fish, doing a great job, no question about that. Lobster fishing, still really good. There's some good local lobster fishing, as you can see, and Catalina remains really magnificent. Cat's been fantastic. And I'll tell you, Juan Carlos Aguilar, there's his biggest lobster yet with a 5-pounder. How can you beat that? That is absolutely spectacular. Really good stuff. In the surf here, we continue to see some pretty darn good fishing. This is a perfect day to be surf fishing. I know a couple of guys who said they were going to be down here, and those lazy bums never showed up. I don't know what the problem is. There's some halibut here in the surf. They'll bite that small chrome jig or a lucky crab lure. I love throwing a little Castmaster. The perch will bite that. Bar perch are still around here, as well as halibut. Or you can go to the lucky crab if you want to focus on the halibut. There's a little bit of yellowfin croaker still around, some spotfin croaker still around, occasional corvina still around. It's pretty darn good right now. Down there by the Huntington Beach Pier, we continue to see good fishing down there. On bar perch, we see halibut up in the Santa Monica Bay. Overall, the surf bite remains really good. And I had my little tootsies in here the other day when I caught a nice halibut in the surf, and that water felt warm to me. I mean, had to be 66. Maybe I'm crazy. I haven't looked at the water temperatures. Many of you are looking at it right now saying it's 58 degrees. What, is this guy insane? It felt really warm to me. So that's good, man. I mean, that should keep us rocking here for a little bit longer. We'll see how that all works out. Bait, when you get into deep winter and it's really cold, that's when you want to go to a bait bite, and you can get your bait and your tackle and so much more right down the street at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, right there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway, a mere stone's throw from here. It is really close to some prolific surf fishing areas, and it will provide you Big Fish Bait and Tackle with all the tackle you need for not only surf fishing, but also big game fishing and all the baits your little heart could possibly desire. So you can pick that up also. Hey, a couple of events. Isaac Parcell has a friend who is having an event at Santa Ana River Lakes this Saturday, and I believe they're gathering toys for some kids who really need your help. So that is this Saturday, CML Bait Toy Drive at Santa Ana River Lakes. And then December the 9th, my good buddy Kevin Kaiser is doing the same thing. He's doing a Loma Linda toy drive, and Kevin does a lot of great work. That'll be December the 9th. So you'll be able to attend that event and help gather some more toys up. That would be really fantastic if you were able to help those guys out. The December 2nd one is this Saturday. Go out there, have a good time, and then come over and join us for our Christmas party, because it's going to be one heck of a bash. If you haven't RSVP'd, now's the time to do it. Send me a text. Tell me how many people will be coming, and we'll make sure we have plenty of food for you all. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bart and Jenny Hall are going to be there. Sam De La Torre from Tackle Shop Confessions and Island Fishing Tackle over there in Carson, California. You'll be able to meet him. Danny Cadota. Who wouldn't want to just sit there and talk to Danny? He's such a gentleman, so much fun. I mean, that is going to be worth the price of admission in and of itself. So really a lot of people coming to the event that we want you to meet more people. In addition to that, it's going to be a fun, festive time, a great way to kick off the holiday season. And that will be December the 2nd. Should be a lot of fun. By the way, I mentioned Santa Ana River Lakes. There's a lot more plants, trout plants, that are going to be occurring this year in the inner city lake regions. We'll try to keep you up to date on that. In fact, Sam and I were talking about going fishing this weekend, perhaps on Sunday, go out and see if we can't catch a trout or two. But that's a great opportunity for many people who live in the city to go spend a couple hours with their grandkids or their kids and catch a trout or two. And they're going to really, in some of these cases, they were doing 1 or 2 plants a year. Now they're going to be doing trout plants every other week in some of these areas. Orange County, Los Angeles County. It should be really great stuff. So we'll keep you up to snuff on that also. All right, my friends, what a gorgeous day. It's absolutely beautiful out. I hope you are doing well, and I hope to see you this Saturday at our Christmas party. Once again, my deep thanks to everybody who's contributed already in helping us to get all the clothing and the medical supplies and the sporting equipment and the fishing equipment, of course, down to Mexico for the Christmas season. I can't thank you enough for that. And if you haven't contributed and you have it within your means to do so, great. If you don't worry about it at all. And in fact, a couple people took me up. They said they were having tough times here during the Christmas season. They'd really like to come to the Christmas party, but they weren't able to afford going, and we took care of it. So if that's your deal, no shame. Send me a text. We'll see you at the party. Don't worry about a thing. We'll take good care of you there. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, I hope I see you Saturday. And if not, almost forgot my line. I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care, my friend.